Clerk, roll call, please.
The board is now open for roll call. Vice Chair Pro Tem Baidoon has requested an excuse.
Roll call in 1 moment. Okay, Madam Clerk, go ahead and call. Okay. Will we not be using the tablets today?
Have a
Octavia,
quorum present.
okay, Octavia just marked everyone present who is indeed present. We have an excuse for Commissioner Vice Chair Pro Tem Baidoon. Next item,
Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag. Thank you. Next item, please.
Invocation.
Okay, today we have the invocation introduction by Vice Chair Palomera.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Today's invocation will be delivered by an alumnus from the University of Michigan. While he was there, he served as captain of the debate team. He is also the past president of the Michigan Trial Lawyers Association, now known as the Michigan Association of Justice. He added to his legendary portfolio by becoming a man of the cloth when he became a lector at St. Colette Catholic Church in Livonia. Wayne County's own Alan C. Helmkamp.
Good morning. Thanks, Joe. If I'm a man of the cloth, we're all in trouble. Just a humble servant. From Isaiah 40, verse 31. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. And from Colossians 3, verse 12. Therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Let us pray. Lord, we place our worries in your hands, our sick under your care, and our problems before you for resolution. We ask you to help us exercise patience, to avoid agitation, to practice wise deliberation to find consensus, and for the courage to be agents of change in the discharge of our obligations to better the lives of those we serve. We ask you to bless our nation, state, and county, and the public servants who labor, sacrifice, and strive to protect and teach us. And finally, as always, we humbly ask that you also protect, bless, and bestow peace and health upon our families, friends, and all of our people. Peace. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you, Lector Alan Helmkamp, for that wonderful prayer today. Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Reading, correcting, and approval of the journal.
Vice Chair Palomera.
Move approval.
Been moved by Vice Chair Palomera, supported by, I think I heard Commissioner Marecki. Any discussion or correction to the journal? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Report from the chair.
Nothing for today. Next item.
Unfinished business, there is none listed. We are moving to page 2 of the agenda, offering of all petitions, ordinances, resolutions, and presentations. There are 2 items listed on the agenda and 1 on the second addenda. Item number 1 is a resolution by all commissioners in memory of former Wayne County Commissioner Maurice Breen, who passed away January 3rd, 2024.
Okay, as customary, we read the resolution to the record for a commissioner that served. Commissioner Breen served, early on, it was 1990 to 91. But, Madam Clerk, if you could read that into the journal, then we'll have a motion.
Maurice Breen, for we know that if our earthly house of this tabernacle were dissolved, we have a building of God, a house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens. 2 Corinthians 5:1. Whereas it is with great sadness that we, the members of the Wayne County Commission, solemnly pause and reflect on the life of former Commissioner Maurice Breen of Plymouth Township, Michigan, who passed away January 3rd, 2024, at age 90. And whereas Maurice Breen was born January 24th, 1933 in Detroit, Michigan, and graduated from Denby High School before joining the U.S. Air Force, where he served from 1952 to 56, and later served with the Air Force Reserves before graduating from Wayne State University Law School. And whereas Maurice Breen began his public service career as an attorney for the Wayne County Road Commission and practiced law in the public and private sectors for more than 50 years. And whereas Maurice Breen moved his family to the Lake Point section of Plymouth Township, Michigan in 1962, and he served on the Township Board and Planning Commission as well as Township Supervisor from 1968 to 1972 and 1980 to 1991. And whereas Maurice Breen served on the Wayne County Commission during 1991 to 92 and was also active in the Republican Party, serving as a delegate to the 1980 National Convention and attending the inaugurations of Presidents Ronald Reagan and George H.W. Bush. And whereas Maurice Breen and his late wife of 54 years, Mary Breen, a former Schoolcraft College trustee, were the loving parents of Melinda Breen Hale, Maurice M. Breen II, and Maura Tom Haas, loving grandparents of Patrick Sullivan Jr., Matthew Sullivan, Samantha Hale, Jeffrey Hale, and Sabrina Hale, and loving great-grandparents of Quinn, Shane, Fiona, and Brady Sullivan. Therefore, be it resolved that this resolution endure as a lasting record of acknowledgement as the Wayne County Commission proudly recognizes the inspirational life lived so graciously by Maurice Breen, and that a suitable copy be presented to his beloved family.
Thank you so much. We have a motion by Commissioner Jesus, supported by Commissioner Baker McCormick. Any discussion on the resolution? Let's continue to keep his family in our prayers during this continued difficult time. Any discussion? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries.
Thank you so much. Next item.
Item number 2 is a resolution by Commissioner Marecki supporting funding to upgrade the public safety radio systems within the Conference of Western Wayne region and urging Congress to support this project by funding it through a congressionally directed spending request.
Commissioner Marecki?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move this resolution. And if I can, just give a little background on this.
Yes.
Nearly all the Conference of Western Wayne police and fire agencies are at or near the end of life of many of their public safety radios. After discussion with the CWW police and fire chiefs, CWW decided to submit a public safety radio project to Senator Peters' office for consideration for the congressionally directed spending. Based on the responses from all the agencies in the Conference of Western Wayne, the region's cost for the needed public safety radio is an estimated $16 million for 29 of the departments, the police, fire, and dispatch. So they are asking, they've asked, there's a whole list of supporters for this resolution, including the Wayne County CEO, Warren Evans, and they're asking us to pass this resolution for continued support of this.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Any discussion on the resolution? Any discussion? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries.
Like to ask for co-sponsors?
Oh, sure. If anybody would like to co-sponsor.
If anyone would like to co-sponsor, we'll So let us know when the board is ready if you want to co-sponsor this resolution.
The board is now open for co-sponsors. Co-sponsors duly noted.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item.
We're moving to the second addenda for item number 3, a resolution by Commissioner Bell reaffirming Wayne County's commitment in honor of Women's History Month, supporting women throughout society as their combined successes strengthen our families, our economy, and the nation as a whole.
Okay. Every year we do an acknowledgement and a resolution for March being Women's Month. So as true to form, this is what I have before you today. We have to really just take time out and acknowledge those unsung sheroes in our community. So hopefully you're doing that throughout the month of March, making sure you acknowledge those Block Club leaders, those church mothers, those people who aren't in the limelight, but they do a lot of work behind the scenes. So I just want to present this resolution for us to support and always remember the contributions that women make to our society and to our world in general. Moved by Commissioner Baker McCormick, supported by Commissioner Dobb. Any discussion on the resolution? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries.
And I would like to open it up for co-sponsors. So let us know when the board is ready for that.
The board is now open for co-sponsors. Co-sponsors duly noted.
Thank you so much. Before we go on to committee reports, just want to remind our listening public that we operate in committee and items on our agenda today have been thoroughly vetted during the committee process where questions were asked and answered and a better understanding was done. And then those items were moved here to full board for final disposition. We may begin with the committee reports.
We are on page 2 of the agenda. Report A is from the Committee on Economic Development. There are 6 items listed on pages 2 and 3 of the agenda.
Commissioner Haydos? Okay, it's moved by Commissioner Haydos, supported by Commissioner Anderson. Any discussion on the Committee on Economic Development? Any discussion on that report? Commissioner Killeen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On item 6, there was a note coming out of committee that approval's contingent upon the updated paperwork. Has that been satisfied?
The updated paperwork was received. The updated paperwork was received.
Any questions, Commissioner?
No,
Okay. Any additional questions on the Economic Development Report? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries. I have Commissioner Kinlock as the maker of the motion on items 1, 2, and 3.
Thank you. Next item.
We're on Report B from the Committee on Public Services. There are 8 items.
Commissioner Markey?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move approval on the agenda for the Committee on Public Services and have Commissioner Clemente be the maker of the motion on number 6.
Okay. Commissioner Anderson for discussion.
To the chair, if I could be the maker of the motion on number 8.
Sure.
Thank you.
Commissioner Garza?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Just like to request to be a maker of the motion on item 7.
Sure.
Great. Any additional discussion on the Public Services Report? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries. I have Commissioner Clemente as the maker of the motion on item number 6, Commissioner Garza, number 7, Commissioner Anderson, number 8.
Thank you. Next item.
We're on Report C from the Committee on Ways and Means. There are 11 items listed on pages 6 through 8 of the agenda.
Commissioner Kinlock.
Madam Chair, I move approval of the entire report.
Moved by Commissioner Kinlock, supported by Commissioner Marecki. Any discussion on the items on the Ways and Means report? Any discussion on the items on the Ways and Means report? Okay, hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries.
Next item, please.
We are on Report D from the Committee on Health and Human Services. There are 4 items listed on pages 8 through 10 of the agenda.
Commissioner Scott.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Move approval of all items 1 through 4.
Moved by Commissioner Scott, supported by Commissioner Colleen. Any discussion on the items on the Health and Human Services report? Discussion on those 4 items? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next item.
We are on Report E from the Committee on Senior Citizens and Veteran Affairs. There are 2 items listed.
Commissioner Kenizi.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that we receive and file item number 1 and adopt item number 2, please.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Kenizi, supported by Commissioner Garza. Any discussion on the Committee on Senior Citizens and Veteran Affairs? Any discussion? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries.
Next item.
We are on Report F from the Committee on Public Safety, Judiciary, and Homeland Security. There are 8 items listed on pages 10 through 12 of the agenda.
Commissioner Clark Coleman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that we receive and file items number 1, 2, and 3, and the remaining items, I move approval. That's 4 through 8.
Moved by Commissioner Clark Coleman. Is there support? Supported by Commissioner Garza. Discussion, Commissioner Kenizi.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to abstain on item 8, please.
Duly noted.
Any additional discussion on the public safety report? Okay, hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries. I have Commissioner Kenizik as an abstention on item number 8.
Next item.
We are on Report G from the Committee on Government Operations. There are 8 items listed on pages 12 through 14 of the agenda.
Commissioner Clemente.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval of the entire report.
Moved by Commissioner Clemente, supported by Commissioner Dobb. Any discussion on the government operations report? Discussion on government operations. Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you. Next item.
We are on Report H from the Committee of the Whole. There are 2 items listed.
Okay, Committee of the Whole, we had 2 meetings on this issue. Dr. El Sayed is here today. If you would like to give us the cliff notes of this item, sir. Hit the button on the bottom.
Got it.
There you go. Oh, now you're off. Hit it again. There you go.
We got
Oh,
it.
now
We
you're
got
off.
it. We got it. It's good.
Okay, okay, there you go.
We good?
Yes.
All right, third time's a charm, literally. Abdul Al Sayed, Director Health Officer, Department of Health, Human and Veteran Services, Wayne County, Michigan. And for the third time, looking forward to a discussion about the opportunity we have before us today to relieve upwards of 300,000 people of medical debt incurred in circumstances over which they had very little control. People don't get medical debt because it's a walk in the park or because they took a bet on some opportunity. It's because they were driven to seek healthcare when they were ill or injured or fearing loss of life. And given the nature of our healthcare system, we know that even being insured is not a surefire protection against medical debt. We know that in the last year alone, 50% of people who took on individual medical debt did so despite the fact that they were insured. And that is the circumstance against which we are trying to act today. We had a very robust conversation about the merits of this program. Again, this would be a $5 million investment where we would be empowering a national level nonprofit to retire up to $500 million in debt with a potential to extend to retire up to $700 million of debt. The program would only apply to people who earn less than 400% of federal poverty and or have debt that is more than 5% of their annual income. And the debt retirement would be tax-free. So this is an immense opportunity we have in front of us today. As we've discussed, the program will be in part funded through post-ARPA general funds dollars and indigent healthcare dollars. I've got Kamau Kepru on the Zoom, as well as Keith Hurley, who's with RIP Medical, if there are questions for the vendor as well.
Thank you. I know the last time we had Keith, we weren't able to hear him. If you're on, sir, if you could unmute and just tell us a little bit about your company.
Yes, I'm here. RIP Medical Debt is a 501c3 charitable organization. We've been up and running for about 10 years. And so far, we've acquired and canceled about $10 billion of medical debt for over 7 million people. The funding sources behind all that work, philanthropic dollars coming from private donors, and then increasingly in the last couple of years, certain government jurisdictions, including Cook County and Oakland County, Michigan, now the state of Arizona, state of New Jersey, state of Connecticut. And there also are some funds at a state level in Michigan that would be used for matching resources for programs like this at a local level. But the program includes recruiting hospitals to participate in this process, and then also reporting back metrics to our government funding partner, indicating how many people we've been able to help, their demographic characteristics and the like. And it's very meaningful work, and we're very happy that we can bring this to Wayne County.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We do have some questions. Commissioner Anderson? Use your outside voice.
For hearing some proposals down the road.
I can assure you that we share that goal. And we've been thinking quite a bit about how do we leverage the programs that we have here in county government and potentially work with outside partners to try and address that. Not to get too philosophical, right? But in the American healthcare system, the innovation of health insurance didn't really happen until the 1920s. It actually happened at Baylor University when the Baylor Hospital realized that the costs of providing healthcare were going up so high that a lot of folks would just not go to hospitals. And that was frankly because of the advent of science. Once you realize you had to wash your hands, you had to build sinks, right? And that took a lot of money. And so they went out to a local teachers union and said, hey, why don't we allow you to pay what would be the equivalent today of $7 a month to be insured against needing our care at the hospital. Anyway, all of that is to say that it's a two-part system. There's a hospital and there's the insurance. Here at Wayne County, we run a really innovative health insurance type product called Health Choice. And right now it's focused on small businesses, which is the organ through which it provides health insurance. And thinking collaboratively with Commission Chair Bell, who's also the chair of the Health Choice Board, and others, we're asking how do we expand that? The other side of it, though, is indigent health care, right? And so we've got an innovative collaboration I'm really looking forward to sharing with you all with our partners at Wayne State University, where we think we have an opportunity to expand access to basic health services for folks who don't have it. At the end of the day, though, right, ever since that moment at Baylor University, we've watched as these two systems between which we all sit as patients have just expanded and gotten more expensive. And clearly the system's not working. And so, what we can do here at a county is what we can do, but there's a lot bigger action that can be taken at state and federal levels. And so we'll do what we can, but we hope that today's a really great start to wiping a slate clean. And I really appreciate your support.
One of the things I did want to mention, and I know it's happening around the county, that a lot of school districts are partnering with some of the hospital systems to have care right in that school. They have the facilities in the school. I think that's a very worthwhile program, and maybe we can find a way to expand that and get care to the children that are in poor families. And thank you for bringing this forth. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Baker McCormick?
You, Madam Chair. I too commend you on the work that you're doing and this initiative to pay off debt. As I brought up in our last meeting, the fairness issue concerns me as to how we will know who is being helped in debt relief. And so I guess my question is still related to that, or maybe, I don't know, maybe if there is some guideline as to how much debt per person. I'm not sure if that, if you thought about that at all. Because if you look at it, if we pay off $1,000 for, each person, then with the 5 million, that would be 5,000 people. So I'm just wondering the 300,000, how we're going to help that many people, and are we limiting the dollar amount that we're paying off for each person?
So first, we're all here because of Executive Evan's leadership on trying to take this on, and so just really appreciate that. And I also want to speak specifically to the mechanism here, because it might illuminate some of the answers to the questions that you asked. What we're doing is we're empowering RIP Medical to go out on our behalf and to work with the hospitals and health centers across our county who hold medical debt, who technically are owed that medical debt, to buy out that medical debt and relieve it. So I'm less worried that we are not allocating the funding we need to address all the debt, because the truth of the matter is, this is not when you think about debt, it's not use a statistical term, it's not normally distributed. Not everybody has debt. And there are some people who have a little bit of debt, a lot of people have a little bit of debt, and some people have a lot of debt, right? The number is not really the problem. The challenge would be if a particular healthcare system or health center said, you know what, we don't want to participate. That would mean that the people downstream of that healthcare center who got debt because they sought care at that healthcare center would then be denied the opportunity. But that's not really in our control. Do you see what I mean? So limiting the amount of money that we spend on debt isn't necessarily going to make it more fair. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not like we got to save it for some folks and not others. We're allocating the money that we believe we need to be able to address all the debt. But what does need to happen is we need to make sure that we engage with the healthcare systems and get them to the table so that can be negotiated down. The other thing I'll say is that's work that starts today. We've already started some of it, but it really starts in earnest today. And I know that all of you out in the community have relationships with hospitals. And so as you're having those conversations with health centers and hospitals, I hope that you'll support and say, hey, listen, if I got a hospital in my district, I want to make sure they understand that I'm expecting that they're going to come to the table, right? And they're going to work with RIP Medical and work with us to lay down that debt, right? So to your point, it's not that any unfairness would be inequitable, right? That like some people, by virtue of how much debt they have, wouldn't be benefited. It's more that you have a situation where we cannot control all the actors at the table, which are the healthcare systems. But what we can do is do everything we can to bring them to the table. I also want to ask Keith if he wants to comment on their experience working with hospitals and health centers and other communities in which they've operated and what that experience has been.
Sure. Well, when we engage with hospitals and health systems, it's rare for any to decide not to proceed with a medical debt relief initiative or project. Sometimes they get involved in a merger or some major corporate event, and so making this a priority can be a little bit elusive. But we've had great success in getting hospitals to sign up. And as Dr. El-Sayed mentioned, we're already talking to the hospital systems that serve the Detroit area, and we have a nice head start. The other thing I would point out, we're talking about accounts that have been through the routine billing and collections process, which means they're roughly 18 months to 7 years old. And we offer fair market value pricing for those accounts. And so that $1,000 account that you referenced, we most likely could acquire that for under $10. That's what the fair market value of accounts is after they've been through the collections process, remain unpaid, and are sitting there dormant on the books of the hospitals. Hospitals have stopped collecting on them. That medical debt is doing damage to people in terms of their credit and mental health and willingness to access additional health services and the like. But just letting you know that we can acquire large portfolios of medical debt for under a penny on the dollar. And the other costs that go along with this project include doing the analysis to figure out who qualifies, sending letters out to all the individuals who have received relief. These are co-branded letters. They'll say, this program was funded generously by Wayne County. There'll be 2 signatures, 2 logos, that kind of thing. So just a little bit more in terms of the process and the pricing that's involved with this work.
Great. And I appreciate the work again. And I understand how we're going to help some people. But I guess my concern is, how do we know how many people we're really helping? If someone's debt is $1 million just to say that, how much is that taking away from 10 other people? So that's my concern, and I'm not really sure how to resolve that concern. But I see the program and how it can help a lot of people. I do. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. And we'll be able to get reports on this, correct? I would assume annually as we roll up to say how many people we've helped, how much we've spent in the process of helping those persons.
Yeah, we can provide, so in the contract is a very robust reporting schedule, and we can provide reports to the commission from there.
Good. And I think it's important to remember that we're investing $5 million, and the company will take care of, if I'm not mistaken, $500 million in debt. So it's a small portion that we're investing that's going to help a great amount of people and a great debt that folks have around Wayne County. So I think that needs to be stated again, because that is a small investment on our part Wayne County to help our citizens throughout the county with that large amount of medical debt that unfortunately they've incurred. Commissioner Kinlock?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. So to be clear, this isn't being allocated or negotiated based upon individuals' debts. It's being negotiated with hospital systems in the aggregate of all the debt held by residents of Wayne County. And so it's not being determined based upon the amount of debt held by individuals. It's the amount of debt that a hospital system has for the residents of Wayne County.
That's right. The eligible residents.
Eligible that
That's
meet
right.
the criteria that's been set for the debt, to participate in the debt relief program.
That's right. There's not a situation where you're going to quibble over like, Joe Schmo's medical debt. It's more of a, here's the collective medical debt that is eligible, right? And here's what we can offer you for that collective medical debt. And yeah, so it's the negotiation is at the population level, not the individual level.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Oh, Commissioner?
Thank you.
Baker McCormick?
Just to clarify though, too, that's if, if that hospital participates.
Yeah, and I
Right.
want to be
And
clear,
we're-
like, there's almost no incentive for them not to participate,
Okay.
right? Because
All right.
at the end of the day, the minute you try and collect from somebody, right? I mean, you just play this forward. Let's say you try and collect 6, 7 times, right? The probability that that person pays on the 8th time is almost nothing, right? And so what's happening here is RIP Medical will go to the hospital and say, okay, look, you and I both know you're not going to be collecting from all these people. So we're just going to buy this from you en masse. So you get money that you're owed, some amount of money for what you're owed rather than no money for what you're owed. See what I mean? And so there's very little incentive for them not to participate. For them, it's a win-win, right? It's not just the win of being able to actually get a check for money you're owed, but it's also the win of being able to say, hey, we participated in this program and wiped away medical debt for people who otherwise we would have indebted, so come to our hospital. Yep.
Any additional questions? Discussion? Commissioner Jesus, is it okay if you make the motion for both item 1 and 2? 1 is the contract and 2 is the budget adjustment for the contract. And is that okay for you, Commissioner Kinlock, to second both of those?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, so we have items 1 and 2 on the committee of the whole, RIP medical debt, and then the budget adjustment for 1.5 million. Any further discussion on those 2 items from the committee of the whole? Hearing none, please vote.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you so much. Then we look forward to how this is gonna benefit the residents of Wayne County. Thank you so much. Next item,
We are on page 15 of the agenda, upcoming meetings.
please note the upcoming meetings for next week. If there are any changes or postponements, please let the clerk know. Next item.
We are on page 16 of the agenda, new business. There is 1 item listed on the agenda and 1 on your first addenda. Item number 1 is requesting commission approval of amendment number 5 to a 5-year contract between the Charter County of Wayne and Alliant Insurance Services.
Okay, who's here to speak to this?
Good morning, through the chair, Michael Cato, Director of Risk Management.
Good morning.
Good morning. What you have before you today is a insurance renewal policy for the county's 3 bridges. It's beginning on January 1st through January 1st of 2025. The policy is at a cost of $2,097,000, I believe. Happy to answer any questions.
12 insurance policies for our movable bridges. This is amendment number 5, and this goes through January of this year until January of 2025. Any discussion on this item? And I'm sure we went out, well, we had this already, so this is just an extension. When are we going to go out for bid again for this item?
Well, for the policies, this falls under the
main umbrella of the Alliant brokerage contract, and that is bidded out every 5 years. That was just implemented last year. These policies are done annually as far as going out to market, bidding them out for different insurance carriers, and that's done within that bigger contract. So we go out every year for our property, general liability, workman's comp, bridges, that's what's before you today. So we do that annually, and but that bigger contract is done for an RFP.
Any questions on this item? Any questions on this item? It's been moved by Commissioner Hados. Is there support? Supported by Commissioner Kinlock. Again, any discussion? Hearing none, please vote. Thank you.
Motion carries.
The next item.
Item number 2 is request of commission approval of the appointment of Joan Grieg to the position of Deputy Director of the Facilities Management and Planning Department.
Okay. Sir, the floor is yours.
Good morning, Commissioners, to the Chair. Gregory Hurst, Director of Facilities Management and Planning for Wayne County. It is my pleasure to introduce Ms. Joan Grieg as the candidate for the Deputy Director of Facilities Management and Planning. 8 months ago, I came here and started, my tenure as the lead as director, started to build my team, and Joan is bringing her up to be considered for the deputy position. So just brief history about Ms. Grieg before I ask her to tell us a little bit about herself. She is a graduate from the University of Michigan with a degree in urban and regional studies. She has been in the public sector for many years, ranging from working with business development in Corktown to working with Detroit Public Schools Community District, actually with me previously. And then unfortunately, she left me and went to Lincoln Park, worked with Lincoln Park, and she's currently with MEDC. And what I would like to do is bring her over to Wayne County and to work as my deputy. Just a real quick summary of kind of what Joan would do, and this is a real snapshot. She would serve as kind of our lead strategy partner for the development of processes and procedures and our practices and building those within the Facilities Management and Planning Department. So I'll stop there and let Joan introduce herself to you.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I'm Joan Grieg, and I'm honored to be here today. I believe that my education and professional experience in property management and community development, most recently in the city of Lincoln Park, has prepared me for this role. I've called Wayne County home for the last 25 years, and I am excited to serve all of you in this capacity as a member of Greg's team, and I'm ready to get to work.
Thank you so much. Well, you certainly have a great deal of experience from DPS to Lincoln Park, and we're glad that Greg has stolen you again, I guess, to come over and work with his team as he builds his team up and we build up that division. So thank you so much. Are there any questions from commissioners? Welcome aboard. All right, well, thank you so much. So, I'm sorry, Commissioner Clemente.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Not a question, because I know Joan very well. I'm very happy that she's coming to work here in Wayne County with our management and planning. You did good. We're sad in Lincoln Park to lose her, but she'll be very beneficial here with us. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any additional questions or comments? All right. Hearing none, we do have a motion by Commissioner Clemente, supported by Commissioner Garza. Any more questions? Hearing none, please vote. All right, and we
Motion carries.
Okay, welcome aboard. Look forward to working with you. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Next item, please.
We are on testimonial resolutions and certificates of appreciation. There are 14 items listed on pages 16 and 17 of the agenda.
Is there a motion to approve the resolutions and certificates of appreciations? Commissioner Hados motions it. Commissioner Marecki seconds it. Any discussion on these items? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries.
Thank you so much. Next item.
We are on memoriams. There are 3 names listed.
Okay. Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I wanted to add a name if I could. We recently lost our director and actually the manager of our local cable system for the city of Westland. Craig, welcome back. He had a long battle with cancer and just recently passed away. He'll be greatly missed. He gave a lot of young people opportunities in the cable system and getting them used to working in that field. One of them is our weather person that we see on Channel 4 in the mornings. And she got her start with him. And I know was very appreciative of him, as we all are. We're going to miss him deeply. He and his wife had 2 daughters, and we'd like to keep them ask everyone to keep them in your prayers. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. We'll certainly keep them in our prayers. Thank you. Commissioner Scott?
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to add Shirley Birch, who was just a wonderful community person. I guess we both shared her, myself and Commissioner Clark Coleman. And I'm just sorry that we didn't get Outer Drive done before she passed away, because this was a lady who continuously worked in her community and did just great things for the kids of the community. Annually, she would put on this thing at DeQuinder and 8 Mile. Those stores there, she would work with them so that they would help the community. And I'm just gonna miss her. Her funeral is going to be this weekend. And it's just hard to talk about her because she was just awesome. You know, the kind of person that you would want in any of your communities. Sometimes she called us too much, but but anyway, she just loved her community, and I guess she and Irma went to high school together. Yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner. Sorry for your loss.
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Coleman, did you want to speak?
Madam Chair, I too would like to add my condolences. Shirley Birch. In one word, to describe her would be tenacious. She was tenacious. She would get her grip on something and she wouldn't let it go until it happened. And I recall, and I would also call her the flower lady, because she wanted to plant flowers on Outer Drive and kept on bugging me about getting plants on Outer Drive and cleaning up and doing this for Outer Drive. And I did set up a meeting with Mr. Was it Candrivas? Were you on at that time? It was someone that from that, I think it was Candrivas or maybe before Candrivas was, what's her name? Beverly. And she gave them such a rough time. But you know, she wanted what she wanted for her community, and she refused to give up. She also was a member of the police, Detroit Police Commission.
She was a commissioner.
Yeah, she was a commissioner on the Detroit Police. So she is, I'm sure she is resting now, because she certainly deserved that rest. She worked very hard, very, very hard for her community. And Martha said that she visited those the gas stations and all those other stores. And she insisted that they clean up their area out there, make it look pretty. And she was on them. And I'm sure that many of the things that they did to beautify in front of their businesses was because Shirley was on them. So rest well, Shirley Birch. You have earned it.
Thank you, Commissioner. So sorry for your loss and the community's loss as well. Commissioner Kinlock.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I also would like to extend my condolences to Ms. Birch as well. But I also would like to add the name of Chef Maxell Hardy. He's was a entrepreneur who opened up some wonderful restaurants here in our city. River Bistro was one that was located on Grand River and created a lot of excitement when it opened, well as Coop, Detroit, which his restaurant cuisine was based around or had Caribbean flair to it. And he was just a wonderful person, member of Triumph Church. And it was very shocking to all of us that he had passed away at 40 years old. So I will be preparing a resolution from all commissioners unless otherwise directed to be extended to his family. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Chef Max will be dearly missed. He had only 40 years old, but had an impact on so much of Detroit. And it's a great loss as well for our community. Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner, I'm sorry.
Want to add on to that? During COVID, he prepared thousands of meals.
Yes.
We're all hungry.
Yes.
For people in need.
Mhm, mhm,
And I listened to Channel 4 and Rhonda Walker indicated that they had worked with him. And it just appeared on their program to a meal.
Yes, yes.
2 weeks before he passed away. And they just lauded him for all of his commitment to the community, and especially in terms of feeding people who needed to be fed. Yeah, so.
Great loss, absolutely great loss. And please have a resolution memorial with all of our names, absolutely. Commissioner Haydus.
Thank you, Madam the Chair. I'm gonna add 2 names, and they both in Commissioner Baidoon's district. One of them, it's my uncle's wife, Sikni Baidoon, Saad Baidoon. And the other name, my cousin, Baidoo's Taha. It was a sad period of our life.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And of course, you have our prayers for your family and for you during this difficult time. Absolutely. Any additional names to be shared under memoriams? Hearing none, please stand for a moment of silence. Thank you. Next item.
Public comments.
Okay, is there anyone on Zoom for public comments today? Do you have any hands on Zoom? Any hands on Zoom? No hands? Anyone on the telephone? Telephone? Okay, anyone in chambers? For public comments? Chambers? Public comments? No? Okay. All right, and any emails?
We did receive one email. It's from Anthony Plessia. Dear Commissioners, please stand up against the Biden administration's effort to cede U.S. sovereignty to the World Health Organization via amendments to the International Health Regulations and the Pandemic Preparedness Treaty. Please restrict funding to any county departments that enforce World Health Organization edits. Please also stand against H.R. 3557 and H.R. 4141 in Congress, which seek to strip away state and local control in permitting cell tower placements and defund or restrict funding to county departments that enforce these bills should they become law. Remember, in Federalist 33, Alexander Hamilton wrote that lower level governments have the right to treat acts by the federal government that are not pursuant to the Constitution as acts of usurpation. No additional emails.
Thank you so much. Next item?
Reconsiderations.
There are none.
Remarks by members.
Remarks by members. Commissioner Killeen.
There we go. There's a microphone. We're 10 days away from the feast of St. Patrick's. I want to invite my colleagues to a couple of events on Sunday, the 17th at noon at Most Holy Trinity, right across the way over here, is their annual St. Patrick's Mass. And that Mass draws Irish from around the Tri-County area and elected officials. And so it's officially known as the Sharon o' the Green Mass. You're not walking out with any money in your pocket. So come on over, that's noon. By tradition, the parade kicks off this Sunday. It's always the week before St. Patrick's Day. And that will be at 1 o'clock over at 6th in Michigan. Commissioner Kinlock and I will be leading the parade down Michigan Avenue. Although I think we talked about, I think we'll let the Grand Marshal go first. But so you're invited to come over to that as well. And with parties and everything coming up, I just wanted to share a little Irish humor. You know, the Irish have this reputation about humor, and I always chalk it up to being a peasant nation living on a rock right next door to right across the Irish Sea from the Crown. You know, Madam Chair, it's often said that the biggest holiday celebration worldwide are nations celebrating their independence from the British Crown. Biggest party worldwide of the year. So to that extent, you might be at a party somewhere and you need yourself a little joke. And somehow these jokes are a little bit funnier when you have a pint or two in front of you. So the grieving widow, a sobbing Ms. Murphy approaches Father O'Grady after Mass. And he looks at her and he says, so what's bothering you, Ms. Murphy? She's, oh, Father, I have terrible news. My husband passed away last night. Father, oh, Mary, that's terrible. Did he have any last request? Certainly he did, she replied. He said, please, Mary, put down that gun. And then, of course, you know, the Irish have always been in government. That's been a big part, either public service, elected officials. So two Irishmen were working in the Public Works Department. One would dig a hole and the other would follow behind them and fill the hole in. After a while, an amazed onlooker said, why did you dig the hole and you have your partner follow up and fill it in? The hole digger wiped his brow and sighed, well, I suppose it looks a bit odd. We're normally a three-person team, but the lad who plants the trees called in sick today. So with that, Madam Chair, thank you for a moment, and to everyone, Sláinte.
Thank you, Commissioner. And just so happens that this morning, my best girlfriend let me know that she had just landed in Dublin, Ireland for a few days with her husband, and they'll be there till Monday. So quite appropriate timing for today to celebrate and for her to actually be there. So thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Martha Scott?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to thank everyone for being concerned about me. I'm now 12 years. I don't think I've ever been off ill. So But thank you for your concerns, the phone calls and the text messages and all of that. So thank you. I appreciate all of you.
We're glad you're feeling better, Commissioner. Glad to have you back. Thank you. All right, any additional remarks by members? Should I announce about the- We have a special announcement about a special date in our April meeting, and just for you all to get your calendars together, in April, both of our meetings will be on Tuesday. Tuesday, April 9th, the equalization meeting as dictated by the state, and then April 23rd, we're going to have our meeting because that's the week of the NFL draft, and coming down here on Thursday will be probably impossible. So our two meetings in April will be on Tuesday. Vice Chair Palomero?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Which brings to mind, on that Tuesday, April 23rd, right after the conclusion of our commission meeting, we will have a special ceremony honoring somebody that I believe all of you, or at least most of you, have worked with in the past and know well. It's no coincidence that he will be receiving Wayne County's Commission's Lifetime Achievement Award for the many things he's done. I won't spoil it for you, but he, to me, is a modern day Forrest Gump in the places that he's been, the things that he's done in civil rights and in sports. And the lineup of dignitary speakers that day is impressive. We'll be honoring Gregory Eaton with a Lifetime Achievement Award on April 23rd, that Tuesday. And Jim is going to be going around with a resolution of tribute for all of our signatures with probably today. He's going to start that. And I look forward to joining me in celebrating the many lifetime achievements of Gregory Eaton. Thank you.
Already did. Yes, yes. So we look forward to having Mr. Eaton come down and showering him and giving him his flowers while he is here to smell them. All right, any additional remarks by members before we dismiss? Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?